Hey everybody! Yeah, lots of part 2 nowadays and lately. Lots of them. Well, that's because I owe you a lot. Okay, on November last year I made the first part of this video, the top 10 most underrated JRPGs ever, in my opinion. And this is a video that I've been owing you for quite some time, so it was about time, right? So as usual, I'm here to present to you 10 games that are underrated. 10 more JRPGs that need more love, more attention and more recognition. So let's take a look. Number 10, Radiata Stories. I'm gonna be honest with you, most of the following titles on this list are games that I already covered in some video or another. But in the end, they all come together as underrated gems that, in my opinion, need more recognition. Radiata Stories is one of those that I've stressed out in previous videos because it's an amazing masterpiece that has already become a cult following game. It's an action RPG in which you can recruit every single human character in the town of Radiata or every single non-human character after the main path of the game splits. It also has an amazing final dungeon in which you can eventually recruit Lenneth Valkyrie from Valkyrie Profile. So I'm gonna say this one more time. This game needs its own series, maybe not a sequel, but it needs to spawn more titles of its kind. And of course, it needs more attention. It is simply an awesome game. Number 9, Infinite on Discovery. Some people have heavily criticized this game even on my channel, but none have actually given me a detailed explanation as to why they do it. In any case, I played this game and beat it and loved it. It's a very underrated action RPG, another one made by Tri-Ace, same company who made Radiata Stories. It's got a good story, excellent battle system that goes as a hack and slash and not with that bit of action waiting time like Final Fantasy XII. Here you get full control of your character. A lot of the missions have very different objectives, not kill all enemies, so the game turns into a very dynamic adventure with a great cast of characters, decent graphics, and a really solid soundtrack. Again, it's another RPG that I've praised in previous videos and I don't feel ashamed to do it once more. It really is great. Number 8, LAT Fort Twilight of the Spirits. This is a very underestimated game. Since the first trilogy appeared in our lands for the PlayStation 1, most people overlooked this one and forgot all about it. That was incredibly stupid, at least in my opinion, since it is what I consider to be the best LAT in the entire series. Sure, some people don't like it because of the story, which is divided into 2 points of view from 2 different protagonists, with an entirely different plot and party. I thought this was awesome, because I am a huge fan of these types of stories. The thing is, I might understand the reasons why people underrated this game, but I still strongly recommend it to everyone that's into strategy RPGs. Seriously, you can't miss this one out. Don't judge it because it is one of the cheapest JRPGs ever nowadays, yeah, that's not even $10, or even because it got literally sandwiched between an amazing trilogy and a terrible sequel. LAT Fort is a great game, very underrated. Number 7, Enchanted Arms, or Enchanted whatever, another top that most people bashed with criticism. Terrible story, terrible gameplay, lame graphics, lack of challenge, blah blah blah. Fortunately, everyone's got their own opinion, like me. While I agree that the story is far from being one of its strong points, I mean it's good, but not that good, the rest seemed to me like a really great experience. I love the battle system. It's a turn-based RPG with strong strategy elements, enemies facing each other on 2 different sides of a board. The details this battle system has are probably what prompted me to praise this game. Lack of challenge? Well, I will admit that the game's easy for the most part, but there are some battles here and there that are quite challenging. Now, as for the graphics, come on. It was one of the very first video games to be released for the PS3, and to be honest, they're not that bad. Actually, they're not bad at all. They're still good as is the rest of the game. So, totally recommended and very underrated. Next is Atelier Shelley. This is actually the third game in the Dusk Trilogy of the Atelier series. Yeah, we all know Atelier Iris for the PS2, great JRPGs, great trilogy. Then there's the Arlan Trilogy, also for the PS3, which is more focused on crafting and alchemy than any other games. Finally, we got the Dusk Trilogy, also for the PS Vita, which are very similar titles to the Arlan Trilogy, but more inclined to battle. Now, the first title of the Dusk Trilogy is Aisha, and meh, it's good, but I felt it was more inclined to questing and crafting than anything else. I've never played the second one, which is called Eska and Logi, but the third part, wow, it left me impressed. I expected at first nothing from this game, nothing, and boy, it was simply amazing. The story is quirky and childish, yeah, it's sort of like a story for kids, but for the most part, but the graphics are beautiful as is the art, the soundtrack's awesome, and the battle system, man, it's extremely good. Try this one out. It is totally an underrated game from an already underrated trilogy, as a matter of fact. Next is Arcrise Fantasia, another game that I've covered quite a lot in previous videos, so let me tell you once again about how cool it is. Sure, it's far from being a masterpiece and it does have its flaws, but it's also a great recommendation for those who love the classic turn-based battle systems. The story's pretty good, the characters are likable, the graphics, well, it's the Wii, what do you expect? But they're okay for its time. I'm not gonna praise this game as much as the others because even though it's not that expensive, it's really rare and hard to get, especially in Latin America. In my case, I have never seen a physical copy of it in my life. But if you can somehow get your hands on it, I'll say give it a chance as soon as possible and treasure it. Trust me, it's a really good game. Number 4 goes to Folklore for the PS3. Folklore is definitely a hidden gem. Not that hidden of course, but hidden nonetheless. Obviously that turns it into an underrated game. It's an action RPG with a fantastic and fabulous art. Graphics are outstanding, story is extremely good and original. You get to play it through two main characters and their own points of view, each with their own personal conflicts. And demons. I've already expressed how much I love these kinds of stories, so it's no wonder why I praise it so. The battle system is somewhat awkward, but once you get used to it, you'll love it. You absorb the enemy's abilities, for so to say, without getting into spoilers, and use them as you see fit against others to make your way through the game. This is another cult-following RPG that definitely needs more recognition. It's great. Number 3 goes to Cardia, the World of Fate. You know, I hadn't noticed up until now, but I guess this list is full of those types of games with two main characters. Sorry about that. In any case, Cardia is a strategy RPG for the PlayStation 1 that many people also criticized because of the battle system. It's based on cards, but they're most likely used as magic spells to attack your enemies. There is originality within the game, but not as many people would have expected. However, there's that element I mentioned before in which the battle objectives are not always to kill all enemies, which gave the game that originality that I at least enjoyed. What I really loved about Cardia was the story. It's really good, really solid, and really well written. So if you're gonna play this game, at least do it for that sole reason, because the rest of it, like the graphics or the music, are not that great, but good nonetheless. It's not a masterpiece, but it's definitely an underrated hidden gem. Totally recommended. Number 2, Lost Kingdoms. Speaking of hidden gems, here's Lost Kingdoms for the GameCube. I know some of you are going to say that this is not an RPG, and I agree to some extent, but I'm not an expert, so I won't argue for now. We'll get into that some other time. Now, while the story of this game might be a little generic, especially since the main character has close to zero development, The gameplay is what truly stands out here. It's an action game in which you use cards to capture creatures and then use these cards to summon them to fight alongside you against your foes. That sounds awesome. The variety of cards and creatures in this game is what made it so special and so addicting to play. It's a decent challenge, it's not hard, nor is it easy. Graphics are okay and music is cool too. So, like I said, the sole reason I'm recommending this one is because the battle system is just so damn awesome. I'll say give it a chance if you can. And well, in case you didn't know, there's a sequel actually, but I don't know, it wasn't as good as this, which is why I didn't include it on the list. Finally, number 1, Ragnarok Tactics. This has got to be one of my favorite strategy JRPGs for the PSP, if not my favorite as a matter of fact. I have nothing but praise on this game because every single aspect of this masterpiece is absolutely amazing. The story, the characters, the gameplay divided into 3 points of view with tons of routes and subplots. You create your own character and get to choose between many different jobs or classes. The music, the battle system, even though simplistic to an extent but original at the same time. Man, everything is great in this game, and considering it's a spin-off of the famous MMORPG Ragnarok Online, I'm very surprised it's still very underrated. It is, without a doubt, a tremendously good hidden gem and a strategy RPG that every lover of the genre should definitely not miss. Okay guys, that's it. Thanks for watching as usual. I don't know if there's gonna be a part 3, probably. I don't know when, but I promise that if there's going to be a part 3, it's not gonna be in 6 months or something. I'll try to make part 3 if there is gonna be one as soon as possible. To present to you, to talk to you about more games that are underrated, that went under a lot of people's radar, etc. And that's it. Thanks for watching once again. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. See you next time.